What have we got, you geeks? Ah. So good morning and welcome to the launch field. This morning we have our first balloon inflating. This is Oswestry Classic Inflation Day. So all the balloons that are here today, more or less, are balloons that have some connection to the town of Oswestry, which is where sail balloons have been built since the late 1970s through Colt, Lindstrand balloons, and then another company up the road about 10 miles from here, Sky Balloons. So this is the first one for the day. The early 2000s, late 1990s Lindstrand. just a man out for a walk with a kiddie swing seat on his backside, yeah. Looking fashionable. In the background behind me here is the second balloon we've got up this morning. A 1983 Colt 17. Richard has brought it today just to get it out and air it because he's not seen it in a few years. So, beautiful little balloon. So we've got a pair of classic Thunder built balloons here in the background, G-BI's on the left over my shoulder, and Animal Magic G-BFIX 1977 and 1980. Two different styles of balloon that they were building at the time. So this one has vertical cut panels, so where the colour changes is where the panel structure changes. Whereas this one, you can see where the yellow horizontal stripe is. There are breaks in the panel all the way up the construction, so they are horizontal cut versus vertical cut, two slightly different designs. We've got a real piece of history taking shape behind us here. Two balloons coming up to be inflated together, which have never been seen together despite being held by the same family since the 1970s. The balloon in the foreground is Tinkerbell, Amiga balloon, serial number 2, built in 1970, and the balloon in the background is a Western, serial number 20 out of 22 that they built. Later, but never seen together. So a huge thank you to Richard and his team who brought these two balloons out today. Thank you very much. You've made it a truly historic meet for us. So this balloon came to my local flying club in 1988 and flew here for about 4 years before moving on to being privately owned. Trained several pilots, of which we're happy to say a number of the original members have joined us today, and I stood around on the field or having a go in the basket for the first time in a long time. So we've got that supported by a couple of balloons in the background. There are also Thunder Colt built balloons which were constructed here in Oswestry, in the small town on the English-Welsh borders. Oswestry has a big impact on the world scene in terms of ballooning, in that we saw balloons come out of here in the late 1980s and early 1990s that crossed both the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean.